Challenges won't stop me. It's a strength and resilience mindset. Let me tell you, it's not ignoring the difficulties in your life. Just look at it as a journey of seeing opportunities in the challenges and discovering who God intends for you to be. Whether it's host Melanie Brown's motivational messages or it's courageous women sharing the strategies and habits they utilize when navigating those unexpected turns, you can expect to become equipped and empowered to fight to overcome any challenge that dares to cross your path. The goal? Building and maintaining a challenges won't stop me mindset. Let's go.
Welcome to the first episode of the Challenges Won't Stop Me podcast, formerly known as the Zigzaggin' One podcast. Fellow traveler, life is a journey. And during that journey, we know challenges will intersect our paths. Friend, our mindset is so important when navigating those challenges. I'm excited to introduce you to my friend Susan Neal in this episode. Multiple health challenges over a short period of time rudely intersected Susan's path. Was she going to give up? Not a chance. Her challenges won't stop me mindset fortified her with a tenacity to discover the root cause of those struggles so that she could fight to overcome. And you know, I love an overcomer story. Susan's story really resonates with me because, well, if you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you know that I've faced multiple health challenges. I can't wait for you to hear Susan's story and how she boldly fought for her health. Lean in. There's something for all of us to learn. So let's go. Welcome, Susan. I am so glad that you are with us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Melanie.
Well, it was such a joy to meet you at the Blue Lake Conference. And wow, you have a story. And I knew that you had to share it because so many of us struggle with health. We're just going to jump right in because there's quite a bit to tell. If you would start us off with really kind of the starting point.
Okay, so it was over a decade ago, I lost my health. I had 10 medical diagnoses and 2 surgeries in less than a year and a half. And it all started with an abscessed tooth.
That is just crazy and scary all at the same time.
Yes, it was. It was terrible. In November, around Thanksgiving, I had a crown put on a tooth, and I remember the dentist saying, "Oh, you might have to have a crown later on with this tooth." And they checked it 3 more times through the next couple of months. Anyway, it was depression, an ovarian cyst, adrenal fatigue, a hole in my retina, surgery for that, surgery for a uterine cyst, hormonal imbalance. I mean, it was just on and on and on. And a candida overgrowth in my gastrointestinal tract. And it went on and on. It seemed like every month for like a year, I had a new diagnosis.
How do you go on when the challenges just assault you back to back to back to back like that?
I was determined to get my health back. For 49 years, I had had good health. And I turned 50 and I lost my health. And I was a basket case. And I just could barely get out of bed some days. It was so hard. But I was just determined because these challenges weren't going to stop me.
I love hearing you say that. As you have gone through these things, these challenges, what was your mindset like? You mentioned how you were fatigued and depressed and all of those things. How did you keep that mindset focused so that each time something new hit, that you could keep moving forward? Because at some point, you just get knocked down so many times that it's really hard to get back up.
It was like going 2 steps forward and 1 step back, 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. It was day by day. Was I feeling any better or not? But on my 50th birthday, a friend of mine gave me a plaque from Isaiah 40:31, and I still have it on my desk today. And it says, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." And I just had faith that one day I would run and I would not be weary, and I would walk and I would not be faint. And I clung to that verse in the hope that it gave.
I love that because that's taking God at his word. I mean, that's what
Yes.
his word says, and he promises us that in Isaiah. You inserted yourself and your situation into that verse, and you said, God, this verse says, and do it for me. How did reading the Bible or praying strengthen you during that time?
I just had to keep at it, I would just hand it over to him and just cling to the verse and just hope for a new future that someday I would be healed. Someday.
So tell me about the different doctors that you came in contact with through all of those different challenges. Were they quick to say, "Oh, it's not a big deal"? Did they spend time with you? Did they give you good treatments that then led to a healthy resolution?
I had several doctors. So I had my dentist, and then 8 months later, I had a dental cleaning. They found the abscess and they sent me to an endodontist. So then I had to have an emergency root canal. So that was like, 1 or 2 there, but that was your teeth. And then I had my general practitioner, and he would run blood tests and find, okay, I'm low on vitamin D, I'm low on iron, and take the supplements. He'd refer me to my OBGYN, and who was very proactive and treated me for he found the adrenal fatigue with saliva testing, and then also hormonal imbalance, and gave me some cream to help balance that out. And then I kept looking. So I found more of a specialist who was more of a functional medicine specialist, and so he was treating me as well. And then it just got to the point. Oh, and then I had to go to the ophthalmologist because I told my primary care that I was having flashes of light in my eye, and he's like, "I want you to go immediately to the
Yes.
ophthalmologist." He referred me, and they would not let me leave the eye institute until I had emergency laser surgery that day to seal the hole in my retina, because that's how the leading cause of blindness is a retinal detachment. And so you get a hole in your retina. And when I turn my head fast to the left, I still see flashes of light in that part of my vision that will never return. And then it was just to the point after about 9 months at that, we were at a point to where they did all they could for me.
Right.
And so, but I still wasn't right. I still wasn't right. I was so fatigued. So then I said, I'm going to try some different alternative medicine. I am a registered nurse. I have a master's in health science. Okay. So I had massage, and, a couple of times that didn't help. I had acupuncture a couple of times that didn't help. I had, chiropractic treatment a couple of times that didn't help. So my bowel movements were not right. And so I knew something was wrong there. So I found a colonic therapist who gives you a colonic irrigation. And you're like, what is that? Well, it's
Woo!
a royal enema.
Woo!
And on the stuff coming out, she's like, "Oh my goodness, you have an overgrowth of candida in your colon." And I'm like, "Candida? What's candida? I'm a registered nurse, master's in health. What is candida?" And so I had to learn, and she helped guide me. But candida is a fungus or yeast that commonly grows in a minimal amount in your gastrointestinal tract. But when you're given steroids and antibiotics like I was given for my root canal, then it strips the lining of the good probiotics. And so those were wiped out. Candida, the bad guy, overgrows. Candida loves to eat sugar, carbohydrates, and alcoholic beverages. So I am like craving Ghirardelli chocolate and red wine. And I am like, gaining weight, and this is just, I'm just spiraling down even further. And so I had to go on an anti-candida diet to eliminate those items I just spoke of. I had to take an anti-candida cleanse. I had to take probiotics. And if any of your listeners are craving sugar, carbs, alcoholic beverages, they can take my quiz, candiquiz.com. It's CANDI quiz.com, to see if they may have an overgrowth of candida. Because if you've ever taken antibiotics in your life and you did not put back in the good probiotics, because nobody never ever told me to do that, you could have a candida overgrowth.
I actually took that quiz just out of curiosity, and it was very informative. So I definitely encourage the listeners to do that. Wow, you have just gone through the challenges, and it just, as you said, spiraled. I just can't imagine emotionally how that wreaked havoc on you. Just feeling, I guess, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but I would have felt broken and out of options. How did you keep from going down that dark road of it's never going to get better, it's never going to get to a healthy place?
I clung to that hope with Isaiah 40:31, and I would just go back to it. This was a gift. This plaque and this Bible verse was given to me on my 50th birthday. And a week later, I have my emergency root canal and I have surgery on my eye. And so I just knew that someday, it was gave me the hope. Someday these challenges would be behind me. I would overcome.
Well, I think that's fabulous. I am taking away from what you're saying how important it is for us to speak out God's word and say what it says and believe those promises. Now, I do that, but you went through 10 months of just back to back challenges. From what I can tell, very consistent about speaking God's word and believing in faith that that meant that you would be healed. And thankfully, you were. Let's talk just very quickly about how that healing process worked and then what it led to.
After about, like you said, 9 months, the doctors had done all they could for me. And then I started alternative methods. And then about, 11 months, or almost at a year, that's when I had found the candida and all that. So then I had to go on this really strict diet. I had to take this anti-candida cleanse. I had to kill this guy in my gut. And candida is like a monster. It takes over your appetite. You do not have self-control. It just takes time, and just like our body takes time to heal. God made our bodies to heal, just like a cut or a sprained ankle. It will heal, give it time. So I, added the probiotics. I would eat the sauerkraut that has the good probiotics in it. I stayed away from the sugar and carbs, and as I gained more balance in my gastrointestinal tract, it became easier to have the self control after I took the anti candida cleanse, because the bad guy was getting killed down. And I
Mhm.
had to do that twice, take two of those cleanses to kill him down. And so it was a year and a half after this whole journey started that I felt like I was starting to come out of the fog.
That's just incredible, and I love the fact that you stressed how it takes time, because 'cause we're in the fast-paced, fast food, I want it now, I want it my way culture. It just doesn't work that way. That's a great reminder for all of us whenever we face any kind of health challenge that impacts our body. We need to give the doctors time and God time to work.
It is. It is work. And we also need to take some control and authority over our health, and that, okay, if we are not receiving the right kind of treatment, or there's something still wrong, and I know there's more wrong and I don't know what it is, and my doctors can't figure it out, to go somewhere else and go to another doctor. I know that when I went to my internal medicine doctor, who was a really great doctor, and I told him that I had a candida overgrowth in my colon and how it was found, et cetera. And he's like looking in the books for how you treat candida. He didn't know. I mean, he was a trained medical professional, internal medicine board certified. He didn't know. And with my master's in health science, I went on a journey to investigate this. And so now I've put it together in different resources to help others understand how to treat it. Because I personally believe more of us are walking around today with the antibiotics we've taken with this candida overgrowth, and more people than what they realize.
Well, let's talk about the books that you've written that are intended to help those who want to get into a better state of health, whether it's from a health crisis or just because, hey, I just need to be better with my health decisions. Tell me a little bit about the books that you have written. I will
Okay.
make sure to put those in the show notes so that those listeners who are interested can locate those.
So I have 7 Steps to Get Off Sugar and Carbohydrates, and it's my bestseller. It's number 1 on Amazon, and it really takes you through 7 simple steps for how to overcome poor eating habits, and it gets to the root cause. We have to identify the root cause, and once you do, then you can eliminate that root cause. And so that's what your that book helps you do. But then I had readers saying to me, "Susan, I'm emotionally connected to food. I need more." So I wrote yes.
I love that because that's a true statement.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, when you hear from your readers, then you know, okay, I've got to write this next book. So I wrote Christian Study Guide for 7 Steps to Get Off Sugar and Carbohydrates. And it goes by a weekly guide of what you do to heal. We do not get through this life without trauma. It is
Amen.
just a part of life, and we have to heal from our past. We have to forgive others. And so going back and doing that is part of the process to break the emotional connection with food.
I love it.
And then I wrote Healthy Living Journal. It is to track your healthy eating habits and living habits for improved health and well being. This is a great one to do if you want to track all the different things to improve your health and have a daily educational snippet or a devotion for 6 weeks to break poor eating habits. And then probably the other one that might be helpful for you is solving the gluten puzzle, discovering gluten sensitivity and embracing the gluten-free lifestyle.
And I think that gluten has gotten a lot of attention, rightfully so, even though I don't meet all of the criteria for it. I know for my own health journey, that's something that I need to limit. I don't need to get rid of it in the sense that my body is allergic to it and spirals out of control because of it, but it definitely makes a difference in how I feel by not having as much gluten in what I eat. Those are fantastic resources. And I will make sure that they are in the show notes. As far as wrapping up, I wanted to focus on the mindset. When we're going through challenges, whether they're health challenges like you've gone through, or emotional, or mental, or financial, any kind of challenge, tell me what you think would be a good way of thinking, a mindset that would help those who are struggling to move forward.
So I had a big lesson in 2021 on this, dealing with a business. I acquired a new business in 2021, and for like the next 3 to 4 months, I had so many technological difficulties. My webmaster is like, "Only you, Susan. Only you." Stuff that would happen to me. Only me. Even just computer crashing, just so many different things. And I would just get on my knees and be like, Lord, please help me, and get up. I get through that challenge. And the next week, it was just like Satan getting a big stick and hitting me in the knee, and I'm down on the ground again. It was 12 plus weeks of major excruciating challenges. And what it taught me is that if God was giving me this business, and this is what he wanted me to do, he was going to help me overcome.
Yes.
He was going to be there. And my challenge this week is going to be so much less next week. And he will see me through. And so my faith grew. And now it's like, okay, Satan, well, yep, you can hit me on my knees, but God is with me and he's going to pick me up.
You're right. What you have shared up to this point was about your health, and now you're shifting gears in the fact that you dealt with challenges in a very different way. It all circles back to trusting in God and
Yes.
relying on God. Challenges, they are so much a part of our life. I've heard it said that we are either exiting a challenge, in the middle of one, or one is right around the corner. And I have found that to be true in my life. Have you?
Yes, yes. So those business challenges were not going to stop me.
Absolutely not. It's just going to be giving you strength. What you gain during that time will strengthen you and prepare you for the next challenge that's right around the corner. And that's the thing that I feel is so important for people to understand. We're going to have challenges and we can't run away from them. We can't, could you pass me by and choose her instead? No, it doesn't work that way. We have to face the challenges that are in our path. They are opportunities for growth. No one likes going through challenges. No one would volunteer for one. But if we could have that mindset of, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I learn about myself, but also learn about God? Allow it to strengthen our faith. Then challenges aren't as scary and oppressive as we make them out to be. That's
Right.
Melanie's viewpoint on that. I think God just wants so much for us to look to him and trust him and seek him out during those times. That gives us the opportunity for that to be, those challenges to be growth building, whether it's with our faith or with our relationships or in our businesses or our families or our marriages, whatever it is.
Oh, that is just so true. It is. It will build you up with whatever you need. And for me, I thought I had faith. Woo! It really built my faith. It did. The challenges did.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Each time that we are challenged, our faith grows. And just as you were mentioning a second ago, we think, hey, it's really strong. I can handle anything. It's been strong enough for your past, but God knows what's ahead, and he knows how much stronger it needs to be in order to be prepared for what's ahead. And
Mm.
so seeing that your faith grew, that your knowledge grew, that your health improved. That time period could have been a devastating thing. And now, when you look back on it, what do you see?
I see it turned out to be my mission. My mission is now to help others who have had health challenges. So now I'm here to serve them.
Right. And while you were a nurse and you were serving others then, and this is related, to me, it feels like your challenges really fine tuned exactly what God wanted you to do as far as serving others.
Yes, unfortunately so, huh?
I think it's great though, because here you are smiling about it. While you were going through it, you certainly weren't smiling, but now you
No.
can because you see what God intended.
Yes, yes.
And that's
That's
beautiful.
right. Yes, it is.
Well,
It
Susan, this has
is.
been wonderful, and I am so grateful that you've spent time with us today.
Thanks so much. I've
And
enjoyed it.
I would love for you to come back and for us to talk about some of the strategies you use to make sure that challenges won't stop you.
That sounds great. Thank you.